Hello everyone, my name is Moby. This is the first video that I'm putting up on my channel. I did this because I wanted to have something up on my channel, and this is gonna be it. So if you're one of my friends and you're watching this and you're like, Moby, this isn't the video we were promised, it's not, because I have to research 7 or 8 books, and that's gonna take me months to do. So I think it'll probably be out by like the end of the year. That's being generous. But instead, because I wanted to have something up, and also I didn't want to talk about something that wasn't scary, because I'm a big horror fan, I'm going to be ranking all 15 fears in the Magnus Archives universe. So, also we're going to ignore all my stuff over here. I don't know if y'all can see it, but we're going to ignore it if it's there. That's not real. Should probably summarize the Magnus Archives first. So, editor here. Spoiler alert for the Magnus Archives, like all of it. All of it. I didn't say that in the video, but all of it. I'm putting it here now. Okay, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers! What is the Magnus Archives, you might be asking? Well, the Magnus Archives is a podcast created by Rusty Quill and distributed under a 4.0 non-creative commons license or something like that. It's a horror fiction podcast. Also, I'm going to be saying the word horror a lot in this video. It's horror. You're not hearing another word. It's horror. I'm just not going to enunciate it every single time. The Magnus Archives was written by 2 guys. They are Jonathan Sims and Alexander J. Newall. It's a British podcast as well. And it follows the protagonist, Jonathan Sims, who, yes, is named after the creator, Jonathan Sims, but in the fandom we make the distinction by calling the actual character Jonathan Sims, and the writer is Johnny Sims. It follows the protagonist, Jonathan Sims, as he takes up this new position as the archivist for the Magnus Institute, and him and his coworkers kind of, because they get statements, so they go through these statements from people who've come in and given them, and as they go through this, through like the episodes, they find this bigger mystery. You know, there's other conspiracies and things that are happening, and they kind of need to solve that. So that's what all that is. What are the fears? Because I mentioned the fears, that's what I'm going to be ranking. The fears are basically, they're not exactly gods, but they're not exactly not gods. They're the fears / the dread powers. I'm going off of one of the characters, Jared Key's statement about all this, because he explains it. I don't know which episode it is. I'll put it up there on the screen. But he kind of summarizes the fears as being God adjacent. And basically what they are is, it's like after a certain amount of time, as people's fears over a certain thing begin to accumulate, new fears are born. Actually, it's people and animals, fun fact.
What? You think people are so special it's only our fear that counts?
As people start being scared of something, as that accumulates over time, it creates a fear, a dread power. And there's 15 of them. There were 14, but a 15th one came about because people started recently having a new fear about something. These fears can also create avatars, which are basically people designated by certain fears to kind of do their bidding for them. An avatar gets chosen by either being really, really scared of a certain fear or being really, really obsessed with a certain fear, and sometimes it's kind of like a 2-in-1 thing. So sometimes people are like so scared that it loops around into an obsession, and that kind of gets a fear's attention on a person, and then they get picked to be an avatar, which is basically that person kind of gains abilities, but they have to generate fear to feed whoever they're serving. So to be an avatar, you have to kind of show interest in a fear, and a fear kind of has to show interest in you, and then you slowly start gaining some abilities, but they're kind of weak when you're in the almost an avatar stage, and then you have to die either physically or metaphorically. Usually it's physically. And then you're reborn as an avatar. Well, you have to accept, and then you're reborn as an avatar, and you get powers, you get some sort of ability based on your fear that you're serving, but it also depends on the person. So like 2 people who are serving the same fear might have different abilities. It's usually unique to every single individual. And then you also get like an extended lifespan, immortality with an asterisk, and like aura. I don't know. But the trade-off for that is you have to, I forgot about this. So you also don't have to like eat or drink necessarily, but the trade-off for that is you have to kind of meet a certain fear quota to feed both yourself and whichever fear you're serving. And if you don't meet that quota, then you start getting like sick and dying. Also, I said immortality with an asterisk. It's immortality, but not really, because you can still die. But usually people who die as an avatar, like again, it's either because of another avatar or it's because of means that are particularly destructive to the fear that you're serving. We'll get into that later. But that's a really shit explanation. All that said and done, let's get into it. So, hopefully this isn't backwards on the camera, by the way. But if it is, I'm not fixing it. Well, I probably will. I don't know. I have 4 tiers here. I don't know if the light is picking it up or not, so I'm going to move it. But I have, at the bottom, let me move my knee out of the way. I'm going to be explaining, I'm going to be ranking the fears based on how scared I would be to be put into a situation involving one of them. Because, yeah, fun fact, the fears prey on people themselves, and they will put just random people into these situations based on that fear. And it's terrifying. Like, all of the statements that these people are giving, if they survive the encounter, they're awful. So, yeah, I'm going to be ranking the fears based on how scared I would be to be put into a situation involving one of them. So I have 4 tiers here. At the bottom, I have light work, no reaction. This is basically like, I got that, right? I'm surviving that, no problem. I actually don't know if any fears are going to make it into this because they're all kind of scary at some point. The next tier I have is meh, you know. I don't want to be in a situation in this tier. I feel like this is more, like, I've got it, but I'm going to be unsettled at least the entire time, right? You know, I'm a little scared, I'm shaking a little bit, I'm nervous, but I'm not horrified, you know what I mean? The next tier up from that, we have, oh, hell nah. This is like, I'm panicking, right? Like, I'm freaked out. I'm scared. I don't know if I'm going to make it out of a situation like this. Definitely not situations that I want to be in if they're going into this tier. Definitely not fears that I want to encounter. Because they're terrifying. That's the whole point, but you know. And then the final tier, the top tier, is I'm so fucking scared. And this is gonna be like, I'm dying. Like, I'm not making it out of an encounter with whatever fear goes into this. Unfortunately, I can't rank them. I can't rank them based on how cool I think they are, which kind of upsets me because I find a lot of them really cool. But at the same time, okay, don't fall over. At the same time, that wouldn't be a fair ranking because I think half of them would be up here if that were the case, so we can't do that. Also, to make this more fun for myself, I have written down all 15 fears on slips of paper. They're sticky notes. And I'm going to be drawing them at random, so yeah, this is going to be like a cute little game, and I'm going to be writing them down with my marker that I have. I'll kind of explain what the fears are as I go, but oh my god, this is going to irritate me so bad. Stay up, please. But yeah, as we go, I'm going to kind of explain the fears from what I remember. It's been a bit since I've listened to the podcast, so I could be a little wrong, but look it up on the wiki. So, okay. Yeah, without further ado, let's pick one. I'm going to go with this one. I don't know which one this is. Stop falling over. Okay. Can I put this back here, actually? That's what I'm going to do. This one is... the slaughter. So the slaughter is basically, it's the fear of senseless violence. It's the fear that, like, you're just gonna get killed randomly. It's kind of a weak ass fear though, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we got some really good slaughter statements though, I will say. And one of the avatars, Melanie King, well, avatar, I say loosely, she was like on her way to becoming an avatar of the slaughter. She was tough. I loved her. So, but yeah, it's the fear of, like, senseless violence, the fear of random murder, the fear of brutality. I think, like, murder sprees and, I don't know, just, like, random attacks would fall into this category. Through any means, really. There was a statement that I recall where, I don't know which episode this was, go find it, editor, but, it was... like, this entire village got just wiped out. Like, someone lost their fucking mind and went and killed everybody. And they described, like, seeing all the gore and, like, how quiet the village was and, like, everyone's bodies just being fucking mangled. And that really got to me a little bit, actually. That was a little scary. But it wasn't the scariest thing ever. I think if I were caught up in, like, a random murder spree, like, obviously I'd be scared. But it's not the worst thing. In the scheme of the Magnus archives, not the worst thing that can happen to me. So I'm going to put the slaughter in... Where am I going to put the slaughter, guys? I need to think about this. It's definitely not light work, no reaction. I'd probably put it in oh hell nah. I'm going to put the slaughter here. Ignore how bad my writing is, by the way. I'm at a terrible angle to write. Okay. That's one fear down. What are we going to pick next? I want to pick this one, actually, because it's already stuck to this one. What is this going to be? Who folded these? Oh my god. The Vast! Okay, the Vast is the fear of, like, big, open, empty spaces. It's the fear of, like, heights and, like, really deep water, because it's just such a huge space, and, like, it's so empty. I think it's vast. That's what the fear is. The Vast also has one of my most liked avatars, who is Michael Crew, who got struck by lightning and survived. And he's got, like, this really cool, I don't know what type of scar it's called. If I figure out what it is, I'll throw it up there. But he's got, like, a lightning scar, and his power is, like, he can, when John was going in to get the statement from him, he, like, made him think he was falling at terminal velocity, and I thought that shit was so cool. He was really polite. Most avatars aren't polite when you go to, like, interview them. Michael Crew was, and I really liked that. I think he also had a connection to one of the books. I'm not going to get into that too much, but there's, like, cursed books. There's all sorts of bullshit going on in this, but there's cursed books happening in this universe, and I think he had one. Ex Altoria? It smelled like ozone, I remember that. I think he had that one, or he had, like, some connection to it because ozone, lightning, something like that. I don't know. But in terms of Vast, where you're falling out of the sky or, like, stuck in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of nowhere, no clue what's going on, like, that's scary, yes. But I feel like I'd be more confused than I would be scared. So I'm going to put the Vast at meh. It's really not that bad for me. I would be fine with the Vast, honestly. Like, I'm not scared. I got that. Okay. This is so fun. This video is going to be a mess. This is going to get 10 views. This is going to be my channel debut, and it's going to be terrible. And my friends are going to make fun of me for it until the day I die. Okay. I want that one. You want the thick thighs pussy salad? Yeah. Hello? Which one is this? This is the Extinction. Okay, so the Extinction is it's the new fear. It's the 15th one that came out recently. It's like the newest addition to the fears or whatever. It's literally the fear of going extinct, like a mass dying, a mass extinction event. Like, I feel like a nuclear bomb would fall into this, right? I feel like a drought. I think there was a statement with the drought. Because it's a newer fear, I think it came about during, like, the Industrial Revolution, whereas the rest of them have been around forever. We don't know too much about it. I think Adelard Decker did a statement about it. I really like Adelard Decker because I like his name. I like how it feels in my mouth. But yeah, because it's such a new fear, there's not a lot that we know about it. But it's basically just the fear of, like, a mass extinction. I do remember this one statement in Season 5 where John was absolutely just making fun of this umbrella. I don't know why he was doing that. There was no need for it, but it was funny. So I think mass extinctions are supposed to happen anyway. There's, like, ice ages and the Great Dying and asteroids and shit that have happened throughout history. I feel like that's inevitable, right? But I also don't think that that's going to happen in my lifetime necessarily. And even if it does, I kind of don't give a fuck. I'm going to put the Extinction in light work, no reaction. Because if everyone's dying, okay, what am I going to do about that? Okay. 3 fears down. That's how many more to go? What's 15 minus 3? 12. Yeah, I knew that. Off rip, I knew that. I want this one, actually. Give me this. Which one is this? Oh, this is 2. Hold on. This is the Desolation. This is the fear of fire. Desolation is, like, the fear of fire and burning and, like, destruction. It's kind of like the slaughter, but with fire, which I think is cool. That's another thing, yeah, the fears are kind of all, like, intertwined with each other, because, you know, it's all fear, and some fears overlap. Fire, actually, this one might get to me. When I was little, used to have, and I still kind of have this fear now, but when I was little, I used to be so sickeningly scared of my house just randomly burning down. I was just talking about this with my dad the other day, to where, like, I had a box full of, like, my valuables that I was ready to grab in case my house caught fire. And even now, it's like, I get so scared that my house is going to burn down randomly. I don't know why, because, you know, you would think for someone who likes looking at fire that I would be okay with the thought of my house burning down. Actually, that's a crazy thing to say. I don't think anyone's okay with their house burning down. I'm not. I'm terrified. But I also don't like burns. I think Martin brings that up. Martin is John's coworker and also boyfriend. This podcast is very queer. Boyfriend later on. Like, it's a whole thing. But I also like Jude Perry. She burnt the fuck out of John's hand when he went to get her statement, and I think that was I think that was really cool of her, actually. It was really hot of her, you could say. Fire, as scared as I am of it, is not my worst fear ever, because you could get out of a fire. Now, if I was stuck in, like, a burning building, like, that would actually be really scary. I would just breathe in a bunch of smoke and hope that I died quickly before I burned to death. So I'm gonna put the desolation at oh hell nah. I think that works. I hope the glare isn't bad. I hope you guys can see the rankings that I've been doing. Okay, next one. Hello? What the fuck? Oh, it's back this way. We've got The Stranger next. Okay. I have personal beef with The Stranger, by the way, but we'll get to that in a second. The Stranger is the fear of the uncanny. It's also called the I Do Not Know You by The Spiral. It's basically, like, the fear of someone being, like, replaced. Someone that you did recognize isn't someone that you recognize anymore. It's like uncanny valley. Clowns are also a big thing here. It's just the fear of, like, not knowing someone, or, like, having someone that you should know not be actually that person. You know what I mean? It's a really creepy fear. I'll give it that. But the reason I have personal beef with The Stranger is because, first of all, one of my favorite characters in the podcast, Tim Stoker, he had his younger brother taken by The Stranger when he was younger. Like, they were both younger, and The Stranger took his brother. And I think he said, like, he went into this place where he saw his little brother, but he was, like, strung up by some, like, invisible force, or, like, it had his skin, but it wasn't actually him. That shit, bro. Anyway, I'm also mad at The Stranger because it's the direct reason for Tim Stoker's death. They went to stop a ritual, because there's, like, rituals that people are doing to try to summon these fears to take over the world. It's a whole thing. Like, you really have to listen to this podcast to get what I'm talking about. But they go to stop the Stranger's ritual. It's Tim, John, who else is there? Daisy and Basira, who are cops, who I haven't mentioned. They're also in lesbians with each other, and they're both avatars of a different fear. Daisy is. Basira was, like, on her way to being one. I don't know if she ever officially was. But someone else might have gone. I don't remember for sure. Yeah, the reason I have beef with The Stranger is because when they were stopping this ritual, they had, like, a bunch of explosives that they rigged up, but The Stranger, like, fucked up their perception of things, and so they were all kind of fighting each other until John locked in with his, like, archivist powers, because he's on his way to becoming an avatar at this point, and he breaks Tim out of it, and Tim realizes he has the detonator in his hand, and he blows himself up, which stops the ritual, but also kills him. And it breaks my heart every time I think about it. Tim also, I firmly believe that he went into, because they didn't want him to go originally, I firmly believe he went into that knowing that I don't think he planned to come out of it. And because he was kind of losing his shit over seasons 1, 2, and 3, his partner / friend / coworker got taken by The Stranger, and then, you know, previously his brother had gotten taken by The Stranger, and his job was, like, killing him because his boss is fucking crazy. So I think he was, like, really depressed and, like, losing his mind, and I think he went into trying to stop the unknowing, which is the name of the ritual, knowing that, or he wasn't planning on coming back out. That's what I think, but I don't know if that's canon. Anyway, how scared would I be to be in a situation where I'm encountering The Stranger? I can do the uncanny valley. Like, it's creepy, but I'm gonna be okay. I don't know you, so what? You know, I'm being stalked by some guy I don't know. That's scary, but I'm just gonna, like, call someone. I'm gonna have someone that I know. I'm gonna go stay with somebody that I know. I'm gonna honestly put the stranger at meh. I don't think I'm that scared of it. Okay. Oh my god, my handwriting is terrible. It's stressing me out. How many have we done? 2, 4, 5. We have 10 left. What is this? This is the spiral! Okay. So, the spiral is the fear of, like, losing your mind / being lied to / like paranoia, shit like that. Like, stuff where I think Michael, one of the avatars for the spiral, calls it it is not what it is. It's just like deception and shit like that. I'm trying to think of statements. There was the man on the stair who wasn't there or some shit like that, where there was like some guy in this person's house, but he wasn't actually there, but he was there, but are we sure he was there? And all of the spiral statements are they're really confusing. But if you're thinking about it in terms of, like, what would I do in that situation? Like, you don't know what to do because you don't know what's going on. I actually do think I have a really big fear of, like, not being able to trust, like, what I'm seeing. I hate being lied to. I hate misinformation. Oh, also, I think the back rooms would be a really good spiral domain. If you want to kind of think of, like, how the spiral operates, think of the back rooms, and then you've got it. But that's actually a really scary fear to encounter. I would honestly put that at I'm so fucking scared. I think that's going to be our first addition to I'm so fucking scared, because I think the worst fear, or the worst thing that a person can go through, is like not being able to trust their own brain. Like, I think that's terrifying. Like, your judgment is truly the only thing that you can rely on to go off of, and if you don't even have if you can't trust that, you can't trust anything, you know? It's terrifying. So I'm going to put the spiral up here at I'm so fucking scared. That's why I refuse to do, like, well, that's part of the reason I refuse to do, like, psychedelics. Like, fuck no. Ooh, I already saw what this one is because I put little doodles in some of the corners of these. This one is the web. If I'm ranking this purely based off of, like, aura points, I think the web would be top 3 for sure. I love the web in terms of, like, how cool it is, but the web is basically the fear that you're being, like, manipulated. It's the fear of unknowingly being a pawn in something bigger. The web is also the only fear that's, like, sentient, that, like, actively thinks about what it's doing, because it's stringing along the other fears to generate fear for it. And I think that's really cool that it does that. I don't fuck with the spiders. Annabelle Kane is really cool. She's the main web avatar. I really love her. She's so cool. I don't fuck with the spiders, though. I think that's the main thing. Like, I do not fuck with spiders. I'm gonna put the web at oh hell no. Because the fear of accidentally causing something that you had no clue that you were a part of until it's too late, like, that's also, like, really scary, come to think of it. Sorry, that's, like, a really short analysis. We don't hear a lot about the web until, like, season 5. So, which is the final season. There's 5 seasons to the Magnus archives. We don't hear a lot about the web. We don't even get an official statement from the main web avatar until a couple of episodes before season 5 ends. But that's okay. Worth the wait. I love hearing Annabelle Kane talk. She's got whoever voiced Annabelle Kane, oh my god, you did such a good job. Okay, next fear. We have got the flesh. Okay. The flesh, how would I describe the flesh? I feel like the flesh is going to be, like, a really hard one for me to describe. Body horror, basically. You know, the fear of, you know, bones, gore, viscera, shit like that, where you're, like, transforming against your will. It also is, like, it's like how people really want to change their appearances, like, physically, like, their bodies, and, like, if you're too insecure about that, I think the flesh is going to get you. I also don't like the flesh because it's a lot of, like, meat. Oh my god, there was this one statement, like, it's in season 1, I think, where I was listening to it in bed, actually, there was this guy who lived in this apartment, and he had like this weird fucking neighbor that lived somewhere in the building, and he kept smelling this like weird smell coming from the vents, I think. I could be misremembering how the statement goes, so if that's not true, I'll throw up like an editor's note later. But he was like smelling this weird smell from the vents, and then he finally has enough of it, and he goes to check on the person who lives there, and the door's open, and it's just rotting meat like stapled to the walls and like stuck on the floor, and it's like, it's so, like, it was so disgusting hearing that statement for the first time. Like, I was nauseous. I really was. Body horror, to me, is terrifying. I don't like it. It makes my skin crawl. I don't like the idea that maybe, like, I'm scared of needles, for example. I don't like feeling that there's, like, something in my skin, kinda. But anyway, as for the flesh, I don't like rotting meat. I don't like rotting food. I don't like body horror. If I was put in a situation where something like that happened to me, I'd actually be really fucking scared. So I'm gonna put the flesh up here. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8. What is 8 minus 15? Or like 15 minus, you know what I mean. Does it matter? I don't think it matters. This one is the corruption. There's a lot to say about the corruption. The corruption is the fear of sickness and bugs and infestations and mold and everything kind of in that realm. I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and a big part of that is like my food being rotten. Like, I am so scared of my food being rotten, or like there being bugs or some sort of poison or something in my food. I don't like mold. I don't like most bugs. Like, there's some bugs that I fuck with, right? But most bugs, like maggots and worms and shit, no. Oh my god, no. And that's a big part of what the corruption is. Jane Prentice, who is the big bad corruption avatar that appears in season 1, had OCD, like implied, where she would pick at her skin, which clearly, as we see, I can relate to that. Not something I'm proud of, but it's a really big issue for me, and I get her. But her infatuation with that kind of made her a target for the corruption, and then she got infested with worms, and like there were described as like holes in her skin, and like worms were kind of coming in and out, and they'd like go and bite other people and kill them, and like they'd burrow into people's skin and kill them, and like that shit is so scary to me. And I remember this other one, I think it was the Sick Village, that's in season 5, where this whole village kind of was hiding the secret of there being like a plague, and some people were catching it, and they were like literally like rotting, like molding while they were still alive. That's fucking terrifying. Corruption is going up here. I'm so fucking scared. I hate everything that has to do with that. Okay, next up. Hello? I do not know why the hive chose me, but it did. We have the hunt. Okay, so when I was talking earlier about Daisy and Basira, when I mentioned those two, they are avatars of the hunt. Or Daisy was an avatar of the hunt. I think Basira was on her way to becoming an avatar of the hunt. The hunt is like the fear of being chased and pursued and hunted, and I think it's the oldest fear because, like I said before, humans' fears are not the only fears that matter. So all of these animals' fears, from like way back when like Earth was starting out, obviously the fear of being hunted is the biggest one that, you know, gets to these prey animals. And so I guess that, and us too, I think it gets to us at some point, but it's the fear of like being chased and found out, I think, was also one of them. I feel like it's a very primal fear. I feel like everyone kind of has the fear of the hunt, but oh my god, Jay from the Cub Scouts would absolutely fall victim to the hunt. Can you imagine how, oh my god, you guys, he hates being chased so bad. He's never gonna see this, but it would be so fucking funny if he did. I'm not that scared of being chased because I don't go out enough to where that's gonna be an issue for me. So I'm gonna put the hunt at meh, because if I'm being hunted down by like a big ass fucking dire wolf or some shit, I'm just gonna die. Okay. Next up. I'm gonna pick this one because it flew out already. I'm gonna open this one and then take a drink. The buried. The buried is the fear of, it's like claustrophobia. It's the fear of being buried and like crushed and stuck in a place where you can't get out. Actually, after post Tim blowing up after stopping the unknowing, one of the characters, Daisy, was stuck in the buried dimension because the fears kind of have their own like dimensions that they can pull people into, and she was stuck in it, and she was like stuck to the point where like she could not move, trapped under so much dirt. And this is where I would like cave diving. Like this is the shit that like I think cave divers would be scared of, is the buried. The buried also has, or no, it's not the buried. I think the stranger has these guys, but they had the coffin that led to the buried dimension. There were two employees, Brecken and Hope. They're the strangers, but they had the coffin that led to the buried. My bad, that's on me. I liked them though, they were really cool, despite being evil. I don't like tight spaces. I don't think anyone likes tight spaces, except for cavers, but they're fucking crazy. So I'm not ever gonna be, like, that wouldn't be my worst fear. I just don't think I would be in a situation where I'd be stuck in a small space. But if I was, I'm putting the buried in, oh hell no, I would panic. I would panic, but it wouldn't be that bad, you know? Like maybe gradually I could dig myself out. I wouldn't be that scared compared to like some of the other fears. We have 4 more, by the way, and I've got 1 in light work, no reaction. That's crazy. The end! Oh my god, okay, so the end is just the fear of like death, basically. I love the end because it has Oliver Banks, who is my favorite avatar of all time in this podcast. He's so cool, and he's canonically a black man, which I love. I don't know, I feel like if anything, I would end up serving the end, because I think about stuff related to that, like, all the time. Like, it's kind of fascinating, honestly. I don't know where that came from, but I wouldn't be that scared of it. Like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, you know? So, I'm honestly putting the end in light work, no reaction. It's also one of my favorite fears. If I'm ranking the fears out of, like, 15, obviously, I think the end is going at 2, 1 or 2. There's one other fear that could top it, and we'll talk about it in a second, but hopefully my mic isn't dead, and hopefully the audio isn't bad, because I'm going to be mad as fuck if it doesn't come out good. The dark. It's just the fear of the dark. Like, not being able to see something that's going to get you. That's really what it is. It's just the fear of not being able to, like, see and, like, not being able to fend off an attack. Because, you know, scary shit happens in the dark. Everyone knows that. I liked their little ritual thing that they had where, to stop it, Jonathan Sims had to eat the sun, kind of. But it wasn't actually the sun, but it was like an evil, dark version of the sun. I don't know how else to explain it, but he had to do that. That was a thing that happened. The Magnus Archives is a podcast. In terms of how scared I am of the dark, I do sleep with, like, lights on. Like, I don't like the dark, because, you know, scary shit happens in the dark. We've said this already, but it's also not my worst fear, so I'm gonna put the dark in meh. I got that. My writing is terrible, guys. It's the angle, I promise. There are 2 fears left. I know one of them has to be something. I don't remember what the other one is going to be. We're gonna go this one, and then whichever one's left, we're gonna know what it is. Oh! Wait, this is a crazy coincidence, actually. This is the lonely. The lonely is the fear of being by yourself and no one being there to, like, help you. Okay, so this is gonna be, like, a huge spoiler, but I've already thrown up a spoiler warning anyway. The lonely, and this one has to be the eye, because it's not up here. And it's crazy to me that I got the eye last, because I took the U quiz multiple times, and I got the eye being the one that I would serve. We'll talk about it in a second, but the eye is what Jonathan Sims ends up serving, and the lonely is what his boyfriend, Martin, ends up serving. And so it's really crazy that I got them both at, like, the end. Isn't there another? It's Elias Bouchard and Peter Lucas are also a Lonely Eyes ship. I think Lonely Eyes is reserved for them, and I think John Martin is for John and Martin. But yeah, the lonely is just the fear of, like, being by yourself and, like, not having anyone there for you. It's a really sad fear, actually. Like, it really does get to you, especially seeing how Martin, who is an avatar of the lonely, seeing how he kind of navigates it and talks about it. it really does suck because I get him. I really do understand. So, but as for how scared I am of it, that's light work. I'm putting the lonely in light work. I don't care if I'm lonely, to be honest. I love being alone, honestly. Like, yeah, I miss people, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm left to my own devices. Oh, God forbid, what are we ever gonna do? This one has to be the eye. And this is also the only sticky note that I wrote in green because I wanted to spice it up a little bit. The eye, my favorite fear. Honestly, I think this is better. I think the eye is better than the end. My favorite fear next to the end. The eye is the fear of being watched and like the fear that someone's like finding out all your information. It's also the main fear because it's the one that the main character ends up serving. It's great. It's a great fear if you're nosy. I'm a very nosy person, but at the same time, I don't like having people in my business, which is really hypocritical of me, I think, because, yeah, I want to know everyone else's information, but they can't know mine. What's up with that? As for how scared I would be to encounter the eye or, like, be in a situation with it, I feel like I would be pretty scared. To be watched all the time? No, that's fucking terrifying. I'm gonna put the eye at... But would it be the worst thing ever? Actually, yes, it would be. I hate feeling like I'm being watched. I'm putting the eye at I'm so fucking scared. Which brings us to the end of my ranking. This video is a fucking mess, and I'm completely aware of that, and I'm so sorry. I'm not good at riffing for the camera. I don't usually talk a lot in general. I'm not good with coming up with stuff without pausing a bunch or stuttering or whatever. I'm kind of slow, guys. Be patient with me, please. Here's the final ranking, though, that I've got, because I don't know if the glare is fucking with the whiteboard or not. Hopefully not, but that's what I've got. That is my ranking for all the fears. This video is going to be horrible to edit, but I'm going to try to have this out before my birthday, which is on the 15th of July, because I'm currently 17 while recording this, and it's currently July 11th. If I have this out before July 15th, congratulations. This is the first and only video I'm ever putting out as a minor, and if not, then I recorded it as a minor, so it doesn't really matter. I don't know. This was a terrible summary, but thanks for tuning in if you did. This is going to be all my friends watching it, probably. This is going to get, like, 10 views, maybe. Upwards of 10, if we're lucky. But, yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed. And I will try to have something else out maybe next month before I go to college, because that's what's going to happen soon. I'm going to go to college, and I won't be able to put anything up on this channel, and I'm going to be irritated about it the whole time. But, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. See y'all eventually.